Now, that was a freaking impressive win. I want to give the Niners huge props for that one. After their other wins this season, I've been on here being like, I don't know. I'm not really sold. It wasn't that impressive. It was just Jacksonville. The Rams beat themselves. That was impressive. The Vikings did not beat themselves. They came here to beat the 49ers, and if the Niners didn't take care of business and actually play a good game and execute, they would have lost. Jimmy Garoppolo threw the pick on the first drive. It looked like this was going to be bad. And the Niners got themselves together, and the Vikings didn't. They won by 8. This was a really impressive performance. It felt like a playoff game. I love late November football. This was two mediocre teams. I mean, by definition. Both teams come into the game 5-5. But the winner of this game can feel like they're a lock for the playoffs, or they're in great position. The loser of this game is in a bad spot. And the Niners won. That's why, to me, at a certain point, it felt like this was a grim, violent playoff game with players going down on both sides. Dalvin Cook got blown up. Fred Warner left early. Deebo Samuel left early. It was clear that both teams, this meant so much to both freaking teams. And I love football like that. The 49ers are better than the Vikings. I didn't think they were. I mean, they really couldn't cover Justin Jefferson, but they didn't lose. Despite Justin Jefferson being open most of the game, they didn't lose. Despite Josh Norman being one of the worst cornerbacks in the league, they didn't lose. Despite the fact that their quarterback is relentlessly average, they won by 8. This was an extremely impressive performance. The Vikings didn't give it to them. The Niners had to take it, and they did. Their season was on the line. They've saved their season 3 weeks in a row. If they lost to the Rams, looking like that, it might be over. Or if they lost to the Jaguars or this one. Really impressed at how the Niners came out, beat up the Vikings, ran the ball at will, held the ball for 37 minutes, made Kirk Cousins look so bad. Real quick, say what you want about Jimmy Garoppolo. His teammates don't show him up on the field. Every time Kirk Cousins missed Justin Jefferson, he'd be like, I don't think Justin Jefferson likes Kirk Cousins anyway. It was fun to see the Vikings lose their mind because the Niners were just better than them. It's always nice to pick against the 49ers and be proven wrong. I was thinking that really their defense wouldn't be good enough. Didn't come down to their defense. The defense on the field for 22 minutes. They forced 2 turnovers. That's all you needed. The offense won this game. Great job. Quite impressed with the 49ers. Let's talk about where they stand in the playoff race. Are the Niners Super Bowl contenders? This week, I did a segment on my show, Pretender Contender, with Jesse Naylor. And I said they were pretenders. Let me revise that. As long as the 49ers have a healthy Deebo Samuel, they can beat anyone. In that sense, they are contenders. Deebo Samuel is the best player in the NFL. He's the MVP of the league. I'm going to talk about him in a minute. But as long as they have him healthy, they can beat anyone. I don't know if he's healthy right now. He tweaked his groin. We'll see if he plays next week. But yeah, he gives the Niners a puncher's chance every week. Now, let me just put this in perspective. This was the greatest day ever for the 49ers, right? They won. They knocked off a wild card team. Carolina lost. Philly lost. The Rams lost. Everyone grouped around the Niners lost. So the Niners, a couple of days ago, were the 8th seed. Then the Saints lose on Thanksgiving. The Niners become the 7th seed. Then the Niners beat the Vikings. Now they're the 6th seed, and the Rams lose, which means the Niners are a game out of the 5th seed, and they would have the tiebreaker on the Rams when they play the Rams again. It's an interesting little development here. What's more, let's look at the schedule down the road. Where are the losses on the schedule for the Niners? I mean, Tennessee is in shambles right now. We were all saying all year, they're going to lose that game in Tennessee. I don't know. That doesn't look like a definite loss. Cincinnati looks good. The Rams are always tough. And Seattle's tough. Other than that, Houston, Atlanta, there's one more that I'm forgetting. But the Niners are in a really good spot to get to 10 wins and be a wild card team. It's too bad they couldn't beat the Cardinals. The Niners had just beaten the Cardinals once, actually ran the ball, maybe played Deebo Samuel at running back in those games. Maybe they win. But now they've lost 2 to the Cardinals. That's going to be tough to win the division. And that's why I'm not sure the Niners are real contenders yet. It's not that they're not good. It's just that they wasted the first half of the season. And they're probably going to be a wild card team at best. And it's just hard for West Coast wildcard teams to win the Super Bowl. Now, the Niners almost, it's hard for them to get to the Super Bowl. The Niners almost did it in 2013. They were a wildcard team. They went to Carolina on the road in the playoffs, won. Went to Green Bay in the road in the playoffs, won. That was probably Colin Kaepernick's best game of all time. Then they went to Seattle, and they were leading in the fourth quarter, fell apart. It's exhausting to do road game after road game after road game in the playoffs. So if the playoffs were to start tomorrow or this week, the Niners would go to Tampa, face the Bucs. Now, can the Niners beat the Bucs? Yes. Anytime the Niners have Deebo Samuel healthy, they can beat anyone. But they'd have to go through Tampa. And then after that, they'd most likely have to go on another road trip. So I'm not saying the Niners are legit contenders yet. And it's not because they're playing like contenders now. But they dug a hole for themselves the first half of the season. You can't get over that. It's not like the season just started. The first 2 months happened. They went 3-5. And that's why they're most likely not going to win the division. And as a wildcard team in the West Coast, it can be done. I'm not sure it's ever been done. Three straight wins on the road. Oh, come on, get focused. So I'm not ready to call the Niners contenders yet, but they're pretenders with an asterisk in the sense that they could run the table. They could win the rest of their games. Anytime they have Deebo Samuel, they should be probably favored. And if any team can be the first wild card team on the West Coast to go road game win, Super Bowl, great. Why not this team? It's going to be hard. It's because of what they did in September and October. Nothing I did. Anyway, it's nice that they're probably going to go to the playoffs because I like covering a playoff team. It's fun. Another road trip. Tampa. Never been to Tampa. Tim Johnson became a YouTube member. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you. Grant, Deebo running the ball is a death sentence for some decent defenses this season. Might be the most dominant weapon in the NFL right now. I agree. Let's talk about Deebo Samuel. Make sure I didn't miss any comments. But yeah, we need to talk about Deebo. Hold on. Grant, is Jimmy G a liability to the Niners offense? He's not helping it. He's a passenger. Deebo for MVP. Elijah is great running back. Hope Warner and Deebo injury ain't too serious. I didn't even realize Fred was out. That's the thing. I didn't realize Fred was out either. Isn't that kind of crazy that he's not making that impact to the point where you notice him anymore? Kind of weird. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, good. Let's move on. Deebo Samuel. First off, let's give an injury update. He tweaked his groin. He did that twice last season. This is an injury he's had before. Tweaked his groin, playing running back late in the game. Close game. I don't quibble with handing him the ball. It's been working. It's the reason the Niners are winning. Tweaked his groin. Now, what's interesting is he's going to have an MRI on Monday. But after the game, Kyle Shanahan said, yeah, we think we might have dodged a bullet. We don't think it's too serious. We'll see. A little strange to say that, but then Deebo Samuel went to the post-game podium and spoke, which is something injured players don't do. Just throwing that out there. If he was seriously injured, he wouldn't have been up there. But then he went up there and was like, well, so how bad is it? And he's like, I'm not concerned. So that doesn't mean he'll play next week, but it's probably not a season ender, and it may not cost him any games. So that's good news, I guess. Like, for example, Fred Warner didn't speak at the post-game podium, but Deebo did, which makes me think Warner's injury is a little more severe. We'll find out on Monday after the MRIs. But Deebo, I'm not going to speculate. We'll find out. What do we know about him? Best player in the NFL. He's the best weapon in the NFL. He's amazing because he's a wide receiver. And I don't think he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. Like, he had one catch in this game, and he was leading the league in drops for a while. Hell of a wide receiver. Borderline elite, but not necessarily the best wide receiver in the NFL. He is the best running back in the NFL. He's averaging like 8 or 9 yards a carry. He totally changes games with 5 or 6 carries. That's all he needs. If you give him 6 carries, you're probably going to get 2 touchdowns in a long run. No one else can say that. The 2 best running backs in the league are the wide receiver for the 49ers and the quarterback for the Ravens. How about that? What an interesting position. Deebo Samuel, I've never seen, I'm not saying he's better than, any offensive player I've ever seen. He's better than Jerry Rice. He's just unique. I've never seen a wide receiver take over games as a running back. I've never seen any running back play this well. He can't do it full time, but he doesn't have to. All he needs is 6 carries, maybe 7. Today was 6. The Niners would not have won this game without those 6 carries. I'm sorry. They played a good game, but let's be real. 2 touchdowns, that was the difference. If Deebo didn't play in this game, they wouldn't have won. If Deebo didn't play against the Jaguars, they might not have won. If he didn't play against the Rams, they might not have won. If he didn't play against the Bears, they might not have won. Now, he did play, and you get credit for having the best player in the league. I'm just saying, this is why he should be the MVP. That's the definition of an MVP. Where would they be without you? How valuable are you? Well, without Deebo, which games would the Niners have won? Would they have beaten Detroit? I don't know if they would have beaten Detroit. He went crazy in that game. The Niners might have one win right now if they didn't have Deebo Samuel. So that seems to be an MVP resume. Now, if he misses time, he could fall back. But I think what I want to say is that after a game like this, the quarterback gets the praise, the coach gets the praise. Great. They're very important. But Deebo Samuel is the reason the Niners are alive. He's by far their best player. He's the MVP of the team, probably the MVP of the league. So let's not go overboard praising anyone on this team other than Deebo because he's playing twice as good as anyone else here. It's outrageous how good he is, and I really hope he's not hurt because I'm really having a great time watching him play this year. I mean, aren't you? Hold on. I got some questions, then I'll keep going. Got Vish tomorrow. Deebo for MVP. Got that. Hold on. Joseph, thank you. Mark says, do you worry about how we use Deebo down the stretch? Do we have a front office versus coaches quarterback issue? Stinger GT2. The thing about Deebo is 6 carries. He should be able to handle that. I mean, he has this groin issue whether he's running the ball or playing wide receiver. That's the problem. And that's why I'm a little hesitant of giving him the big contract down the line because this keeps happening to him. It's not even a usage thing. It's just stopping and starting seems to be an issue for Grant. You got kicked off the field again. Yeah, pretty much. Compromise, but I like this look. It's a good look. Grant, would you agree that we do not need Jimmy to play great to win games? Seems like we just need him to fit. Yeah. Dude, just hand off 40 times, throw 20 times, convert a few third downs, and most importantly, don't turn the ball over. They win. It's pretty funny. Just play the way you always have played. Pretty funny. Yes, Jody. Yes. Anquan Bolden plus Cordell Patterson equals Deebo MVP. He's better than that. Whatever hybrid you want to say, he's better than that. But I feel you. I know what you mean. It's a little Percy Harvard throw in there too. Grant knows Niners are real. Admit it, Grant. This team, as I said, this team can beat any team. The problem is they messed around the first half of the season and put themselves in a hole that I don't know any West Coast wildcard team can dig themselves out of. Maybe this will be the first one. Nathan says, I actually saw a video of the Niners. Posted after the game of Fred, and he looked like he was fine jogging and celebrating. Didn't see any hammy issue. Okay, we'll see. Good to know. Good knowledge. Priya, what's up, Priya? Deebo is hella balling. Grant, love that you use nickel and dime lingo. Go 510, baby. The team is nothing without him. Do you think Deebo or Jimmy is more sexy? Real talk. Let's all hang out at Drake's. Priya, you're on. After the season, we will have a whole meetup at Drake's in Oakland, and I will bring my father and my wife, and we will all toast to each other. Thank you, Priya. Would be fun. Is Deebo and I at the next Rice and Owens? Deebo's a running back. They're their own thing. I don't know about that. You once said Alden Smith was the best 49er you've ever seen since you started the Niners. Where do you rank Deebo ahead of him? Deebo's the best player I've ever covered. Deebo every week shocks me. That's rare. Okay, let's move on. Fred Warner, real quick. Injury update. Hamstring. The Niners say he's going to have an MRI in the morning. They don't know how bad it is. They said with Deebo, they think it may not be too bad. They don't know how bad it is with Fred. Fred Warner didn't speak at the postgame press conference, which makes me feel like it could be worse than Deebo's. The interesting thing about Fred Warner is he left the game for a long time, and I couldn't tell. I knew he was out, but I couldn't tell. The 49ers were fine without him. He's really had a quiet season. He's not a bad player. He had 3 tackles in this game. The Niners' best linebacker all year has been Azeez Al-Shaair. I don't know how, but this guy, he misses some tackles. He missed one today, but he's everywhere. He had 8 tackles and an interception. So as long as the Niners have him, I think they'll be okay. Kind of crazy to say, right? Last year, Fred Warner was the best player on the defense, the leader of the team, the best middle linebacker in the league, and he deserved whatever he asked for. Now, it's like, Warner's gone? They'll be okay. It's not really a defensive team anymore anyway. It's an offensive team. So Fred Warner's down. They should be okay. Now, Dre Greenlaw's out too. He re-injured his groin. That's not good. But Fred Warner, I mean, now he's a better player than Mike McGlinchey. But Mike McGlinchey, He's been out the last couple of games. Anyone notice? No. In fact, the Niners had some really good runs around the right side today. That was Tom Compton out there. I guess the difference between Mike McGlinchey and Tom Compton isn't that big. Anyway, this was a Fred Warner topic. Just seems to me like he's a good player, but with or without him, the Niners can win if Deebo Samuel's healthy. Like, the injury that matters is Deebo's. Fred, if Deebo misses time and Fred comes back, I'm concerned. If Deebo comes back and Fred misses time, I'm like, The Niners are an offensive team anyway. Could beating Seattle in their home give you more confidence to play the road in the playoffs? It's not that I think the Niners are a good road team. They're better on the road than they are at home. It's just that 3 road games in a row add up. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Remember the Vikings when they came here after 1 road game against the Saints in the playoffs 2 years ago? They didn't even show up. Now, the Niners almost pulled it off in 2013, but it's hard. And they didn't. They lost in Seattle. So the Niners would have to go, they got 6 games left, no bye week, road playoff game if they're lucky, then another road playoff game if they're lucky, and then another one. Assuming another wild card team doesn't win, the Niners have a wild card on wild card matchup. KS winning games with Jimmy doesn't mean much to me. His hot seat is the same until he proves he has a real plan for Lance. Jed, don't be fooled. Yeah, I don't know. If they go to the playoffs and lose in the first game, they already said they're going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo if he doesn't make a Super Bowl run. Where is Kittle? Jimmy Kittle package trade? I'm going to talk about that. Kittle's the invisible man. Need him to step up. No more banana hands. I think something is back. I don't know what that means. No more banana hands. I liked it, though, but I didn't understand a single word. Can you explain the Jimmy trade rumors question you asked? Just seems like a little weird time to ask. I support you, Philly. Just give haters ammo. Yeah, the report came out today. It was topical today. If I waited till Wednesday, it'd be 4 days late. I was going to ask the question whether he won or not. I wasn't trying to take a shot at him. He played well. I didn't leak the report. Someone in the organization leaked the report today, which I thought was quite unprofessional. The day of the game, you leak a report about your franchise quarterback that he's not coming back. Hey, but go get him. So I asked about it. Hey, Ian Rappaport reported this. Did you see it? Do you have a response? That's just journalism. I'm not a cheerleader. I'm not there to be like, hey, Jimmy, you were great. Can you talk about that? Nah. Someone in your organization leaked something. Ian Rappaport reported it today. Did you see it? Because I'm thinking it affected your play. And he's like, nah. It was easy to brush off after a win. After a loss, who knows what he would have said. Frankly, I don't believe him. But anyway, that's why I asked the question. I thought it was what journalists are supposed to do. But, around here, the Niners win 3 in a row, 6-5 record. Everyone's just praising, saying they're a Super Bowl team. Why ask an actual question? Let's just focus on how great the Niners are at 6-5. I'm sorry. It's not how I do my work. If you thought it was a low blow, I feel you. But, Jimmy can really handle it himself. If Jimmy had a problem with my question, he could have pulled me aside and been like, Grant, what the hell? But he didn't. He was cool. He's a professional. Why is everyone always worried about Jimmy Garoppolo's feelings? He's a 30-year-old quarterback who has a lot of pressure and criticism from all around him and $100 million. He's good. He can handle himself. If Jimmy has a problem with me, he can tell me. I actually think Jimmy and I have quite a good working relationship. I don't know. But I appreciate all you guys having his back. Grant, hey, my dad and I are huge fans of your show and how you cover the Niners. We love and respect how you always keep it 100. Thank you, freak. That was very nice of you. Appreciate you. What are your thoughts on the Niners winning out the rest of the regular season? They could. I don't know how many games they'll win without Deebo, but if Deebo's healthy, they could win any game. It's true. Why is Dwelly an afterthought now? Because I like him? I don't know. Their other tight ends don't catch any passes. They might as well give him the ball. I don't know. Let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. All right. Here's how the day unfolded for Jimmy Garoppolo. About an hour before kickoff, Ian Rappaport goes on NFL Network and is like, hey, so this week Kyle Shanahan kind of left the door open for Jimmy Garoppolo to potentially come back next season. Allow me to shut that door. Jeez. He says, barring a Super Bowl run, which theoretically is still possible, the Niners' plan is to trade Jimmy Garoppolo and start Trey Lance next year. What a timing. What timing for a report like that? Why the day of the game? Why did you need to make that clear today? You have a game to win. That reminded me of 2014 when right before kickoff, week 1, Rappaport reported that Harbaugh had lost the locker room. What a time for that report. Right before the game, he lost the locker room. How? Okay, so you needed to clarify that. Someone in the organization was like, no, we need the whole world to know that Jimmy's out, barring some miraculous Super Bowl run. He didn't define that. That just seems so unnecessary. And I felt bad for Jimmy. I know everyone's mad at me for asking about it, but I actually feel bad for Jimmy. And, I mean, it's so outrageous that someone in the organization would leak that today. Ugh, awful. And yet so 49ers. I know you want to be mad at me. That's fine. But I actually think it's too bad. And I think if you actually, Jimmy, in candid moment, who are you mad at? Grant or the 49ers? He'd probably say the person who leaked it, not the person who asked about it. Anyway, he has to hear that crap an hour before the game, and then he goes out and looks affected by it. He was awful in the first half. He didn't get roughed up. He got hit 4 times in this game. He sacked himself by tripping. He didn't get hit. He looked out of it. He looked like he was shocked. Oh, my God. I'm having the best stretch of my career, and it's out of the question that I could come back unless we go on a Super Bowl run? Why? Why? What has changed? Trey Lance isn't ready now, but in February he will be, and you'll trade me after the offseason, even if we make the playoffs? I thought that was a really awful way to pull the rug out from underneath Jimmy Garoppolo. And he responded with a really average game. Threw a pick in the first series, and Kyle Shanahan took the game out of his hands pretty much after that. And there was a 3rd and long. He called it a trick play where he had Jawan Jennings throw. He had more confidence in Jawan Jennings to throw than Jimmy Garoppolo. That's rough. And yet this is the guy you want to give every game to this year. So he was kind of average. The pick was bad. After that, I mean, his job was to sort of get the ball to Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell as much as possible. I mean, his game kind of evened out. He made some good throws. He made some bad throws. He was a passenger. He was an observer. He was better than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins so bad. But, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is the same exact player that they had in 2019. He's the same player they wanted to replace. He's just winning by handing off a lot and having a couple of good throws mixed in with some bad ones. Same guy. And yet they're winning. And yet, so that they could theoretically go to the Super Bowl this year with Jimmy Garoppolo doing nothing, just handing off to Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell, and then bring Jimmy Garoppolo back even though he's doing nothing. Or he could get hot and start playing really well. And the Niners, could lose in the playoffs because maybe Deebo Samuel's hurt. And then they get rid of him and it's not his fault. Seems like a strange way to frame it. I don't know. I felt bad for Jimmy Garoppolo today that report came out, and you knew where the report came from. It came from the Niners. Sucks. Anyway, I bet he was probably thinking, man, maybe I changed their mind. Maybe they like me again. Maybe I have a future here. How could they get rid of me? I'm playing the best ball of my career. Doesn't matter. We're just happy that you're raising your trade value. That's what the Niners essentially said. We don't care. We don't care how well you play. Barring a Super Bowl run, you're out. And thank you for raising your trade value. What the hell is a Super Bowl run? What is a Super Bowl run? Does that mean winning the Super Bowl? Does that mean going to the Super Bowl? Does that mean almost going to the Super Bowl? If they go to the NFC Championship game, is that a Super Bowl run? If they make it close. I don't know what this means, but it's. I feel bad for Jimmy, and I think it showed in his play today what an organization can do to their quarterback. Imagine if Jimmy ever went to an organization that just had his back 100%. Jimmy, you're good. Jimmy, we're not going to trade for another quarterback. Jimmy, you can stay. I don't know. I mean, he's not that good, but man, he has people undercutting him left and right. It's not even me. Sorry, Jimmy. Little Orstewie says, great game tonight. Excited to see Trey next year. Bought a Jimmy G holy candle, and I went to the store, saw someone that looked like Sean McVay after the Rams game, and had 3 jugs for milk for the Rams loss. Ha, 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 ha. Thank you, Little Orstewie. That was very generous of you. Appreciate it. Poor Jimmy Garoppolo. Could the Niners stay on the East Coast help in the playoffs? But you don't know where the next game is going to be. You don't know where the next game – possible. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they will. Perhaps. Just wanted to clarify, I'm not offended, nor do I care one way or the other. Just seemed to upset a lot of people. LOL. Thank you for your work. Yeah, I don't know why it upset so many people. It didn't seem to upset Jimmy. He laughed it off like, I don't know what you're talking about. Cool. End of story. Good answer. I thought he had a great answer. Why is everyone always so concerned about his feelings? He's a big boy. He's cool. I don't think he's worried about what I said. I think he's probably worried about the leak. But it's cool, man. You guys want me to be I'm always the bad guy during a 3-game losing streak, so that's cool. I can be the bad guy. Say goodnight to the bad guy. They showed Kyle Banana Hands chewing out Garoppolo on the interception. Yeah, Kyle talked about it. After the game, he called it inexcusable. Garoppolo said it was inexcusable, too, that it was basically not open. Kyle chewed out Jimmy so badly, he was shaking mad. I don't care. You have another quarterback you refuse to play. I don't care that Kyle Shanahan's shaking mad. That's your quarterback now. What's the Niners' next step for the leak? What would your next step be in the wake of the leak? Dude, that leak was high up. It was one of their bosses. What's Kyle going to do? Talk to his boss about it? It's above him. It's above his pay grade. All right, let's talk about Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell isn't the best running back on the team. That's Deebo Samuel. But damn, Elijah Mitchell is outrageous. His longest carry of the game was 15 yards. So he didn't have one carry that skewed his stats. He still averaged 4.9 yards per carry. 27 carries? What? Now, I don't know if he can keep this up. Kyle Shanahan's really running Deebo and Mitchell into the ground. But for now, whoa, every time he gets the ball, he gets yards. You almost never see him lose yards. And sometimes it looks like he's going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage, but then it's a 5-yard gain. He doesn't look that big. He's like 205 pounds. What's up? Yeah. You watching? That's cool, man. We got people watching, man. What's your name? Nick, what's your name? Hey, nice to meet you. All right, Elijah Mitchell. They have to keep riding him. If he goes down, this team is in trouble. But no, let's talk about what makes him so good. He's the hardest running little guy I've ever seen. He's 205 pounds, but he runs like he's 240. And he has this little burst. He's not going to be like he doesn't have the long speed of Mostert, but when he hits the line of scrimmage, he has this burst that no defender expects. And he smacks people. I think he knocked Eric Kendrick's helmet off at one point. That was wild. This guy he's one of their MVPs this year. He's one of their best players. I'm a little self-conscious right now because I know I'm being watched. But no, if as long as the Niners have healthy Deebo and healthy Elijah Mitchell, they can really beat anyone. If it's just Elijah Mitchell, I still think they're okay. He's not as dynamic as Deebo, but damn, he's really good. He looked every bit as good as Dalvin Cook in this game, right? And Dalvin Cook some people consider him the best running back in the league. Vish Kumaran considers Dalvin Cook the best running back, I'm pretty sure. And Elijah Mitchell looked better than him in this game. It wasn't even close. Great draft pick. The Niners always do this with running backs. I don't understand why they traded up for Trey Sermon. Why would they ever spend big or draft big at this position when they can get guys in round 6, round 7 after the draft? Anyway, Elijah Mitchell needs to be on this team for a very long time. One of the best Niners draft picks in a very long time. Wow. I like watching him play too. Just a relentless running back. Got that. Hold on. Jimmy is a pro, but if a different quarterback could be an interesting situation, just say, yeah, Jimmy's a pro, man. Cool. He's going to make his next team really happy. The leak was stupid, isn't it? Giving up leverage? Yeah, like what is that? How does that help you? Hey, guess what? We don't even like Jimmy that much. I know you thought we might like him, but no. I think our run game is at its best when done by committee with one at the helm. Why aren't we using Jeff Wilson and Sermon more? Because Mitchell's so good. Good point, though. He's just so much better than the rest. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the defense. The reason I picked the Vikings to win this game is because I was not sold on the 49ers defense. And I'm still not. They gave up 6.2 yards per play. That's way too much. They gave up 26 points. Now, one of those was a kick return, but still, that's a lot of yards. And the Vikings offense was only on the field for 22 minutes. So the Niners' best defense is their offense. The Niners' defense is running the ball with Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell and keeping their defense off the field. They have no pass rush. Nick Bosa gets 1 sack a game. He's terrific. They have no pass rush. Eric Armstead, I'm not sure if he played. He makes no impact. I don't want to hear about Eric Armstead. He was not worth that contract. The Niners are giving him $50 million to do nothing. Forget that fool. But Kevin Givens, good player, forced a fumble. Better than Eric Armstead. But really, Fred Warner not making an impact. Eric Armstead not making an impact. Samson Ebukam not making an impact. Jimmy Ward gave up a touchdown catch. Talanoa Hufanga gave up a touchdown catch. Josh Norman, so bad. So bad. 2 penalties a game, plus 60, 70 yards in coverage. He did force a fumble, but the Vikings recovered it. So bad. So I'm still not sold on this defense. What bailed them out the last few weeks is they're getting turnovers. Now, one of those turnovers was Kevin Givens forcing a fumble. Another one was Aziz Al-Shaair intercepting a layup from Kirk Cousins. So I don't really know if the Niners have figured out how to get turnovers because they struggled with that the first 8-9 games of the year, or they've just gotten a little lucky recently. I don't know. Either way, they don't have to lead this team. The big difference between the 2019 49ers and the 2021 49ers is the 2019 49ers was a defense-first team. The best part of that team was its defense. And if they had the offensive identity in 2019 they have now, they would have won the Super Bowl. If they were using Deebo the way they're using him now, they would have won the Super Bowl. But this season, if they're going to make this Super Bowl run and even win it this year, it's going to be because of the offense. Because of an offense that can hold the ball for 35, 36, 37 minutes, minimize their defense's exposure, because as good as Nick Bosa is, he's just one player. And the rest of the pass rush is non-existent. But the run defense is pretty good today, so that's good. I just feel like this is still an issue. Something to talk about. Now, they did a good job. I mean, they didn't get torched by Justin Jefferson, but again, how many times did Kirk Cousins miss him when he was wide open, in the end zone, down the field? I don't know. Still not sold in this defense, but they don't have to be dominant anymore, which is cool. These Norman punch-outs every game are nice, yes. If only he was a linebacker and not a cornerback, because he does have to cover people from time to time. Niners won. You said they would lose. Are they still pretenders? We talked about this, Jonathan. Sorry. We talked about this. My answer to that is they can beat anyone in the league right now. But the fact that they started 3-5 means they're probably going to end up a wild card team, and West Coast wild card teams by nature are pretenders. They're going to have to do something no one's ever done before. Run the table on the road from the West Coast. That's a lot of traveling. Go back and look at the 2013 Niners, see how they fared. Eric Armstead or Eric Arm tackles? Oh, wow. George Kittle. Talk about Eric Armstead not making an impact. George Kittle, where are you? George, great quote, great personality, love him. Good blocker, hell of a blocker. I don't know if the 49ers would have ran for all those yards today without him, but they're paying him like a wide receiver. They're paying him to run routes and catch passes, and today he had 1 catch. Last week he had 4. What the hell is going on? Now, I understand Brandon Ayuk stepping up. The identity of the offense is to hand off. Elijah Mitchell's taking a lot of plays. Deebo Samuel is the best player on the team. I'm giving Kittle the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to say he's declining or having a bad stretch or a bad season. I'm going to say that the 49ers are saving him. He's a little bit older. He had a calf injury, and they're trying to get their older playmaker to the playoffs, and then they're going to unleash him. But if Deebo Samuel's hurt and misses time, the time to unleash him is now. They can't go into Seattle and win with George Kittle having 1 catch, 2 catches. He needs to go back to being the guy who has 8 catches, 9 catches. Does he still have that in him? Can he do that? He needs to. This season, if Deebo's out, is going to largely depend on Kittle. Ayuk's good too, but you need both of them. And if Kittle's going to just become the next Charlie Warner, the Niners in trouble. I don't think Kittle's going to go out like that. I think Kittle needs a little challenge from time to time. George, you're not playing as well as you need to. You're not playing up to your standard. Play better. You're a good blocker. They're paying you to catch passes. Catch more passes. Kyle, you gave this guy a record contract. Call his number. Can't keep doing this. Got to get George Kittle involved. You're on a great run, but you can't drop any more games that you're supposed to win. Next week against the Seahawks, got to win that game. And if Samuel ain't there, Kittle has to be the MVP for you. Did you see Josh Norman gorilla punch that guy on the ground? No, I didn't. That sounds like a worse than a regular punch. I don't know what a gorilla punch is, but it sounds painful. Longest win streak in the NFC right now. Let's go! The NFC is just totally falling apart, right? It's wide open. It's wide open. The Niners are hot. Kittle needs targets. You there? What do you see? I'm seeing a guy who's not getting open. Well, let's watch. We'll do the Jack and I'll break down. We'll look at the film. The next game. Let's talk about the next game. So the 49ers have won 3 in a row. They're 6-5, and they're feeling pretty good about themselves. Hopefully not too good. I know Niner fans are feeling great. That's cool. Enjoy it. You should. But next week is a very interesting game. It's in Seattle. And again, Niners are feeling really good about themselves. Seattle's looking really vulnerable. This is a game you think the Niners should win, right? Well, I think it's dangerous to just chalk up a game in Seattle as an easy victory. How many games have the Niners won in Seattle the last 15 years, 10 years? 2? Maybe 2. I think they've won in Seattle twice since I've started covering them. So here's what I want to say. I'm not going to pick the Niners to lose, but just the Seahawks play Monday night against Washington. If Washington wins that game, Seattle might be dead. But if Seattle wins, they'll be 4-6 with the ability to go to 5 they'll be 4-7 with the ability to go to 5-7 with the win over the Niners. So they're not dead. They can save their season against Washington on Monday night and have something to play for against the 49ers. It's a big game. It's a big game, especially considering Tennessee's falling off. If the Niners beat Seattle, then they also have Atlanta, Houston, and Tennessee. That's 4 more wins right there. That's 10 wins. If they lose to Seattle, it's a tough one. So don't overlook the Seahawks. Let's watch them closely on Monday Night Football and see what they have to offer, because that team in that stadium with that quarterback, can't take them lightly. And they're not dead yet. I think a lot of people thought the Niners were dead at 3-5. Yeah, the Seahawks are 3-7, but they could be 5-7 real quick, and the NFC is wide open. So it's looking like the Niners really should be a playoff team, even if they lose next week. But let's not overlook the Seahawks. It's a really important game. Fortunately, I don't think the Niners will. I think the Niners are locked in, and if they lose to the Seahawks, it won't be because they took them lightly. It'll be because Deebo was hurt or something like that. Or, Jimmy has another bad game against Seattle. He's had 2 in a row. 2 bad games in a row against Seattle. So I'm interested. This is a great season. It's still interesting. It's kind of an easy schedule down the stretch, but this game coming up is intriguing. So let's see what the Niners got. Let's see if they make it to the playoffs. I'm starting to think they will. Not sure if they'll make that Super Bowl run yet, but if they do, you get another year of Jimmy Garoppolo. If they don't, we finally get Trey Lance. So it's a win-win, right? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. I got to go. I can answer a couple questions if you got them. If not, it's probably time for me to hit the trail. I kind of like this new spot. It's a little bit higher up. Maybe I could get like a light source to get my face in the future, but I think it's a good spot. I think it's a better spot than the previous spot. I think I'm going to stay here. They're still mad about my question on Twitter. Hilarious. I didn't leak the report. What was I supposed to do? Just congratulate Jimmy Garoppolo? Hey, Nicholas, you're blocked. How you like that? 49ers versus Bengals. Who you got? Man, can we see if Deebo's healthy for that game first? Don't put me on the spot yet. But that's a tough game. I might just have to go to that game. I think I'm gonna make a little appearance in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, I'm coming. Better watch out. All right, guys. I'm gonna drive home. Not a better spot. Why not a better spot? Well, the other spot, they kicked me out, man. Too real. Sorry. I'm just going to switch it up constantly. Keep you on your toes. All right, I'm driving home. I'll be back tomorrow with Vish. See what he thinks. I haven't talked to him yet. I have no idea what he thinks of this win. I have no idea. The best part about Vish is he keeps you on your toes. Keeps you guessing. All right, everyone. Have a great – enjoy this. Enjoy this win for 24 hours. That's it. Then we got to look ahead to that game against the Seahawks. See what they got. Peace, everyone.